Chapter 4. Examples of retribution for sexual misconduct. Li Deng at 18. Attained the Jiuan degree. Yet from then until age 50 he could not pass the Jinshi examinations. He consulted Master Yi, who prayed to the Wen Chang God for a revelation. For God ordered a celestial attendant to produce Li's official register and proclaimed. At birth, Li was granted a jade seal by the heavenly emperor and was destined to become Jiuan at 18, Shaoan at 19 and Chancellor at 52. But after attaining the Jiuan at 18, he secretly spied upon a neighbor's daughter. Though the act was not consummated, he caused her father to be unjustly imprisoned. Heaven therefore delayed his success by 20 years and reduced his rank to second class. He then seized his elder brother's land and became entangled in lawsuits, earning another 10-year delay and demotion to third class. In Changhan, he violated a virtuous woman, incurring yet another 10-year delay. Most recently, he stole the affections of another neighbor's daughter. Though his previous merits had brought him great fortune in this life, his repeated evil deeds, especially lust, have now not only stripped him of his official destiny, but hastened his death. When Li heard this, he died of shame and remorse. Xuan Thayan, author of Water Margin, filled his book with scenes that encouraged lust, theft, and killing. As retribution, his son, grandson, and great-grandson were all born mute. Scholars are warned never to write works that promote licentiousness and violence, for they harm not only countless readers, but also the writer and his descendants. Wang Shifu, who wrote The Romance of the Western Chamber, depicted secret trysts between lovers, inspiring many to entertain lustful thoughts. Before finishing the work, he could not control himself and bit off his own tongue, dying in agony. The Tang dynasty poet Xuanzan, upon seeing his cousin Kui Yingying's extraordinary beauty, sought to marry her but was refused. In anger, he wrote the story of Yin Ying, fabricating illicit encounters and defaming her chastity, causing her to be shamed for 1,000 years and leading later readers to emulate such secret affairs. Yuan died in great suffering, and after death his body was struck by lightning. A scholar from Weiyang wrote a pornographic book. Upon completion, he dreamed of being rebuked by a heavenly spirit and dared not print it. Later, after his son died and his family fell into poverty, he published it. Soon after he went blind, his hands grew festering sores, and his fingers twisted together in spasms until he died. These cases show that those who write licentious works incur certain retribution. Let readers take heed. Zhu, a gifted young descendant of an official, saw an neighbor's daughter and, through his wife, lured her to his home for embroidery. One day, Zhu hid behind the embroidery table while his wife excused herself, and he raped the girl. When her parents discovered it, they forced her to commit suicide. Thereafter, whenever Zhu entered the examination hall, he saw the girl's bloodied form. He failed every time, and was eventually killed by rebels. Zhang Mingsan, living with his father in Kwamya, seduced the commander's 2 daughters and fled with them across the sea. When the father pursued, Zhang pushed both girls into the water, drowning them. 10 years later, Zhang developed a waist ailment. A physician named Sun treated him with some success, but that night Sun dreamed of 2 women dragging him underwater, saying, "We are from Kwangya. We have come to take Zhang Mingsan's life. How dare you obstruct us?" Sun, startled, told Zhang and refused to continue treating him. Zhang sighed, "My doom is near." He died the following month. Liu Yaoju, traveling by boat to the examinations, seduced the boatman's daughter. That night, Liu's parents both dreamed of a spirit saying your son was destined to pass this time, but his unrighteous conduct has struck his name from the heavenly roll. The examiner initially wanted to rank Liu first, but found his paper improperly formatted and rejected it. In Changshu, a wealthy man named Qian saw a beautiful but poor woman and lent her husband money to start a cloth business. Qian thus carried on an affair with her. One day the husband, unable to sail due to low tide, returned home and found Qian embracing his wife. Ashamed and enraged, he left again. Fearing exposure, Qian and the woman conspired and sent a servant disguised as a bandit to kill the husband. A clansman reported the crime to the authorities. Both were sentenced to death, but Qian bribed his way to acquittal. As they stepped out of the courthouse, a thunderstorm struck, and Qian and the woman were both killed by lightning. Heaven's justice never fails. Zheng Bao, prefect of Chengdu, coveted the beautiful wife of Li Wei, a county official. When Li was found guilty of corruption, Zheng had him exiled. Li died on the way. Shang then bribed Li's mother and married the widow. Soon the woman fell ill, dreamed of Li's ghost, and died. Shang dreamed. She told him Li has lodged a complaint with heaven and will come for you. Stay indoors. One evening, Shang saw a red sleeve beckoning him from outside the hall, thinking it was his wife. He rushed out and encountered Li's vengeful spirit, who beat him until he bled from mouth and nose and died. Even high office cannot shield one from such retribution. And the Qing dynasty, a student named Wang from Fengyan, on the eve of his examinations, saw 2 lotus flowers bloom side by side, an auspicious omen. Overjoyed, he drank wine undraped and ate her start. The next morning, the lotus flowers had withered. He dreamed of appearing before the Wenshan god, who struck his name from the heavenly roll. Though he begged, it could not be restored. He failed repeatedly and returned home in tears. In the 9th year of the Zheng reign 1514, a young man named Wang in Yushan married a bride during his mother's mourning period, agreeing to consummate only after the full 49 days. The bride slept in her room while Wang kept a vigil by his mother's coffin. Annan entered the bride's room at night, and the maid, assuming it was Wang, let him in, and left before dawn each day. He also took her dowry jewels. After the mourning period, Wang prepared the wedding feast, and the bride realized her knightly companion had been an impostor. Heartbroken, she returned home and hanged herself. During the funeral procession, lightning struck the pretender Wang's own cousin, who was holding the stolen jewels, and he was killed instantly before all. In the Shanzi reign, a tutor named Qian and Jixing seduced a 17-year-old girl left alone at home. She became pregnant. When pressured, Qian denied everything, accusing her of promiscuity. The girl hanged herself. Qian later dreamed of her holding a child. He passed the Jinshi examinations and became a judicial official in Zhongning. When rebels were captured, Qian accepted bribes and was sentenced to strangulation. The night before execution, he dreamed of the girl strangling him with a silk ribbon. The next day, he was executed. In Exeng, a beautiful widow ran a dye shop. A timber merchant, unable to win her, schemed to plant his timber at her house and accused her of theft. With bribes, he humiliated her, hoping she would yield. She prayed to her household god, who told her in a dream, "I have sent the black tiger to avenge you." Days later, the merchant was killed in the mountains by a black tiger that bit off his head. In Jiashan, a student returning from examinations told his friend Gu, "I am haunted by evil spirits. Please find a monk to expiate my sins." Gu invited a monk, but she suddenly spoke in a different voice. "I have harbored resentment for 3 lifetimes. And now I can finally repay him." Asked why, the ghost said, "In a past life, I was his subordinate, and he my commanding officer. Surname Jiao, for coveted my young wife and sent me to my death in battle. My wife killed herself, and my family was scattered. In his 2nd life he was a monk, and I could not harm him. In his 3rd life he was a chancellor, protected by his merits. Now in this life, he had a destined official rank, but he recently committed sexual misconduct and has been stripped of it, so I may finally take my revenge." Though Gu pleaded for mercy, the ghost refused, and she died in convulsions. A student in Guizhou repeatedly failed the examinations. He consulted a Taoist master, who petitioned the spirits for the heavenly roster. The oracle said this man had destined rank, but it was removed because he entertained lustful thoughts toward his aunt. The student protested, but the oracle added though he committed no act, the thought was there. In his youth, he had indeed been attracted to his beautiful aunt. Even a thought of lust, with no overt act, can forfeit merit. Heaven sees the mind as clearly as lightning. Let all beware. Yan Wu in his youth seduced the daughter of a neighboring officer and fled with her. The officer reported it to the court, and a warrant was issued. In fear, Yan killed the girl to cover his tracks. Later, in Sichuan, he fell ill and saw her vengeful spirit, who said the elopement was wrong. I never wronged you. Yet you killed me cruelly. I have appealed to heaven, and tomorrow I shall have my revenge. The next morning, Yan died. A jailer Liu in Jiangning told a prisoner he could be released for over 10 gold pieces. Liu lusted after the prisoner's wife and forced her to submit, taking her 20 gold pieces, the proceeds of selling her daughter for the ransom, but pocketed them. When she discovered her husband remained jailed, she told him, and he died of grief. 10 days later, Liu ran a fever and began speaking in another voice. So-and-so has sued me, in the Eastern Peak Court. He begged for mercy, confessed, and then, claiming his lying tongue would be hooked in hell, bit off his own tongue and died in agony. Yang of Susong, highly regarded in his school, devoutly served Lord Guan. He dreamed that the god gave him a seal, and he confidently expected to pass the examinations. But then he raped a virtuous woman. After the exams, he dreamed of Lord Guan demanding the seal back. When he asked why, the god said, I am not only taking back the seal, but your life as well, for the crime you committed under the building on such and such a day. Can you still feel at ease? Within a month, Yang and his son both died, and the Zheng de reign. A scholar named Fu dreamed of his deceased father, who said, because I committed lust in life, tomorrow I shall be reborn as a dog in the Z family. Do good deeds to expiate my sins. A ghost then covered the father's head with white cloth and departed weeping. The next day, the son found a white puppy at the Z house and bought it, performing good deeds for 5 or 6 years until the dog died. A month later, a maid in the Fu household spoke in the voice of the deceased father, announcing that his sin had been expiated, and he would be reborn as the 5th son of a drive. Zhao and Shandong. Then the maid fell unconscious and awoke. Liu of Yunzhong, a scion of a noble family, indulged in lust, even corrupting the maids. Most of his children died young. His family was ruined by lawsuits and punishments. In middle age, he was destitute, without food or clothing, sick and uncared for. When he died, he had no coffin, and maggots covered his body, a pitiful sight. In the 1693 imperial examinations, a candidate named X saw a ghost enter his examination booth and wept in terror all night, disturbing the entire hall. On the second night, the candidate cried out, in such and such year in Hubei, I deceived a girl by claiming I was unmarried. She gave herself to me, along with gold and silver. When I brought her home, my wife refused to accept her, and she died. Now she has come to claim my life. He begged for mercy, then fell silent. The attendants found him strangled with the red cord from his brush. This was the retribution for secretly harming a woman, made public so all might know. And Zheng Shi, a rich man and a poor man were friends. The poor man's wife was beautiful, and the rich man schemed to take her. He offered to help them relocate, took them by boat, and lead the husband into the forest, where he killed him with an axe, returning weeping. He claimed a tiger had killed him, and lead the wife to the scene to rape her. But a real tiger appeared and carried off the rich man. The wife fled, believing her husband dead. Then she saw her husband, who had revived from his wounds, and they returned home in joy. A merchant Zhang from Yuhang, traveling in Nanjing, had an affair with a woman who claimed to be a neighbor. Later he discovered no such neighbor existed. Confronting her, she confessed, I'm a ghost with a request. Do you know Yangshu? Also from Yuhang. When Zhang said yes, she said bitterly, he is a heartless man. I was a courtesan, we swore marriage and I gave him all my savings. He left and married another. I died of grief. This inn is my old home. I wish to follow you to Yuhang to see his new wife. Zhang agreed. On his arrival, the ghost departed for Yan's house. That day, Yan collapsed at his birthday banquet and died. His new wife nearly died as well. Zhang and Jia Yuo, a gifted writer, but morally loose, raped an neighbor's daughter, causing her untimely death. In the examinations, the examiner admired his essay and wanted to rank him first. But a voice from the sky thundered, how can one who has violated and harmed others be ranked first? The examiner fainted when he awoke. Zhang's paper was shredded. He later told Zhang why he failed, and Zhang died of shame. Zhu Xiao Xin of Jinzhong, a Jiran, visited on Honoré and, taking a liking to a young nun, raped her by force. The next day, he bit off his own tongue and died. Wang Tuanzang of Chuyang, having an affair with a neighbor's wife, planned to elope with her, but the woman killed her husband. Wang fled 70 miles to Zhongshan, thinking himself safe. Entering a restaurant, the owner prepared to servings. Wang said, "I'm alone." The owner replied, "But the man with flowing hair beside you, is he not a person?" Wang realized the vengeful ghost had followed him, surrendered to authorities, and was executed. In Yanshan, a man lusted after an neighbor's wife. When her husband fell ill, he fashioned winged garments, entered during a thunderstorm, and killed the husband with a hammer, making it appear as if struck by lightning. He then married the widow. One day, she found the garments and he boasted of his deception. She reported him to the authorities, and he was sentenced to death. On the day of his execution, lightning struck off his head and tore his body apart. In Nanchang during the Song dynasty, twin brothers Gao Xiaobiao and Gao Xiaoji were identical in looks and voice. Each had a son, and their fortunes were similar. At 31, they traveled together for the examinations. A beautiful widow attempted to seduce Xiaobiao, who refused and warned his brother. Xiaoji pretended to heed him, but secretly impersonated his brother and had an affair with the widow, promising marriage and taking her money. Xiaobiao passed, Xiaoji failed. Later Xiaobiao became a jinxi. Angry at being abandoned, wrote him a bitter letter. Xiaobiao confronted his brother, who repented, but the widow had already died of grief. The next year, Xiaoji's son Round Xiaobiao's son survived. Xiaoji wept until blind, died in poverty, and left no heir. Xiaobiao lived long prosperous, and with many descendants. In the Kangxi reign, a student Zhang in Yanzhou, an amourette of his cousin, was refused in marriage. He bribed her maid, obtained her shoes and sachet, and spread rumors of an affair, hoping she would be unmarriageable so he could take her. The cousin, shamed, cut her wrists and died. Her father Su Zhang was sentenced to death. A southern scholar, witty but fond of gossiping about others' private affairs. One day in the examination halls, the words "fond of speaking of bedroom affairs" appear on his paper. Frantically rubbing them off, he tore the paper and failed, remaining destitute all his life. Ken of Jiangsu, a learned but frivolous scholar, loved to mock others in verse and spread gossip about neighbors' private matters. He was repeatedly sued but never reformed. In old age, he went mad, ate his own feces, scraped his tongue, and when locked in his room, bit off his tongue and later broke out to kill himself with an axe. Thus the mouth that signed was punished through the mouth. Li Shoukang, an incapacitated official, was slandered by his envious colleague Sun Yan, who spread rumors that Li's sister-in-law had committed adultery. Li died of grief. His sister-in-law hanged herself. Days later, thunder struck Sun, dragging him to Li's gate, where he was killed. Even at his burial, lightning again struck his coffin, exposing his corpse. A jealous destroyed two lives, and retribution came through the sky. In the 1672 provincial examinations, a woman ghost cried out for Wang II of Damyang. The candidates found a candidate named Wang, who confessed that years ago he had made jesting, slanderous remarks about a widow's chastity, which reached her ears and caused her to die of shame. He fled the examination hall, fell on the steps, and died the next morning. Lan Runyu, handsome and talented at 20, secretly spied on a neighbor's daughter for 6 months. When she married, he wrote a levistic poem. A friend burned it and warned him, but he mocked the warning. In the examinations, he dreamed of having his eyes gouged out by a spirit. He awoke with such pain he could not open his eyes and submitted a blank paper. His blindness became permanent. While the friend who had burned the poem placed first, a certain wealthy young man plotted with a friend to violate a widow. His father dreamed of a spirit saying your son's destined drank is forfeited for his wicked schemes. The friend who devised the plan shall be cut open. The father rushed to the school and found the friend screaming in agony until his bowels burst. His own son later went mad and died. Huang Fu, a Qing dynasty Jinshe, lost his post and died impoverished. He told this tale as a magistrate. He had a student who wanted to break his engagement to a poor, swollen-bellied girl, claiming she was pregnant. Huang Fu judged against the girl without hearing her defense. To prove her innocence, she cut open her belly showing no fetus and died. The student was executed, and Huang Fu was dismissed. His only son saw the girl's ghost and died. The couple grew old without heirs. Those in office must judge with compassion and care, especially in matters of honor and life. The above examples demonstrate that the laws of karma are inexorable. Those who commit lust, slander, or injustice will not escape retribution, while those who cultivate virtue and restrain desire will receive blessings. Let all who read take these lessons to heart.